All right, guys. So before we introduce you, we were just talking about X Pogo, and then we were talking about Y Pogo. But tell me about Z Pogo. So we got to get the third dimension in here.
Z Pogo's tough. It only comes out every once in a while, but it's aggressive. We try to tame them down.
It's the diagonal pogo. Mm-hmm. It's not up and down. It's not side to side. It's forward and back. Oh man! But what's up, guys? Today we have a really cool podcast. Today we have some very special guests, and this is not your average scooter riders. These guys are beyond scootering. They are doing something. They're taking bounds and leaps over scootering. So. Mystery guest, introduce yourself. Russ, you can start.
So my name is Danger Russ, and I'm an extreme pogo sticker from Virginia.
My name is Tone Staubs. I am also an extreme pogo sticker from Colorado Springs.
So is that what you guys refer to yourself as, extreme pogo sticker? Or is it like freestyle pogo sticker? Is there like an official term, or is it extreme?
We kind of go by just like pogo sticker,
okay.
But just to give people an idea that's not like the normal spring stick, we say extreme. So they're like, oh, okay, it's the bigger ones, you know?
Got you. And is that somehow an extension from X Pogo?
Yeah, so X Pogo is just the name of the company that these guys decided on. And it's kind of just it just stuck as like our official name of the sport, X Pogo.
Okay, is that the main brand of pogo sticking? Or is there competitors to X Pogo? Like, tell me about the market really quick. I'm so curious.
So like X Pogo is more of like your central hub for all the information on pogo sticking. Like they put on the competitions.
Got it.
They sponsor some of the riders. They put on shows and all that stuff, and they're doing all the promotion for the sport.
So it's almost like that company's the infrastructure of pogo sticking in a way. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that the only real core brand, or is there more?
Well, then you have the actual pogo stick companies. So you've got Vertigo Pogo Sticks, which are right here in the States. Overseas, out in France, you got a brand called TK8 Pogo Sticks. There's an up and coming brand over in, I think it's Iran right now. I don't even know what they're called yet, so we'll see what they're called. But that's like the core market for the actual pogo sticks themselves. And then there's a umbrella company that was like the first pogo stick company back in like 1918 or something like that. They're called Flybar. They actually produced the world's first extreme pogo stick as well, about 16 years ago.
So what classifies a pogo stick to an extreme pogo stick?
Something with like a height potential with a little bit more than like.
Is there like a height or a spring level or a pressure level that classifies it from non-extreme to extreme?
Well, so the spring pogo sticks, you would pretty much classify those as like your just typical run-of-the-mill pogo sticks. Like they're not very extreme. We have models that can like handle a bigger person.
Let's just be clear with the audience real quick. What type of pogo sticks are like common out there? Because there's obviously spring ones. I've seen those ones before, but you guys don't ride spring ones. You guys ride air compressed ones, right?
Yes.
And then is that the only real two methods, or is there more methods?
So I was saying about the first extreme pogo stick. It didn't have either of those. It wasn't air powered. It wasn't spring powered. It was actually these giant elastomer rubber bands about, I want to say, 1.5 inches thick and probably about 8 inches long. And they would hook inside of the pogo stick. And when you bounced, they would stretch out and then recoil you back up into the air.
Wow. That must have been like a bigger device then.
Yeah. The first one weighed about 25 pounds.
Really?
Yeah.
How much does yours weigh now?
I'd say the ones that we use right now weigh about 13 to 14 pounds.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's so interesting. I feel like pogo sticking has like a pretty gnarly history then, like if it's so old, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty crazy that we started with that, and the height potential of that thing was barely 6 feet, I want to say.
Okay.
And now the pogo sticks that we use are blasting us like on a whole nother level. There's one even that this guy built out in France probably like 10 years ago. It was had like a nitrous tank on the front for it. So like you'd be bouncing at like 4 feet, and then you're about to come down on your next bounce. You press this button, it shoots your pogo stick full of air, and then it just shoots you double the height.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is nuts. Yeah.
What's like the height that pogo stickers have reached right now? Like, what's the limit?
Right now the world record is 11 feet 1 inch.
Wow.
With like, that's clearing it with the bottom of the pogo stick and then landing and bouncing away.
So is that when they measure that height, do they jump over a bar that tall?
Yeah, like a pole vaulting setup.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's so wild. So do you think if somebody was just bouncing like just without moving forward in any sort of way, they could get over 11 feet and 1 inch? Or is it like when that dude went over, you think that's the highest anyone's ever gone?
Yeah. So like, I think momentum plays a little bit of a role.
Like, is momentum good for getting you higher, or is it easier to get higher from a standstill?
For sure. Like when you're jumping up to the bar, if you take like a, 8-10 foot jump, and right as you're coming in, you like level out so that you go straight up, that forward momentum will give you more push so you can go straight up even higher.
Yes, you're blocking your momentum with all those forward jumps, and as soon as you get to like right before the bar, you kill all your forward momentum and transfer it straight up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So how much of like hypothetically, if I wanted to beat that record, how much of it is the pogo stick doing the work, and how much of it is like the person? Because I feel like there has to be some equation between like how much you weigh, how much pressure you have in your pogo stick, and how that reaches maximum height, right? Like is there like an ideal body figure? Is there an ideal like thing that goes into getting that maximum height? Like what would that take to beat that record?
Yeah, so like the biggest problem we face with high jump is it's pretty important to be like, fast twitch muscle, like pretty jacked. That helps. But once you reach a certain pressure, depending on your weight, the pogo stick is so hard to control because it's like you're basically trying to jackhammer something. So when you're jumping up to the bar, most people can get up that high, but you can't control it to get over the bar because you're just so much higher than you normally would be. And also every time you come down, it's like hitting a rock. So
because the pressure's so high in the pogo stick.
Yeah. So you have to be really like controlled and have good body control.
Yeah. And then when you come down, you really have to just force into the ground as hard as you can, huh? Because the pressure is so much that.
And that's what makes it hard to control that bounce too, because you have to control up in high jump, trying to get over that height. You really want to line up your bounces like precisely, or else you're going to fly right into that bar. You're not going to be close enough. So it's a big mental game too. Like when you watch this competition or dudes trying to do this, you'll see them jump at this bar probably 20 attempts before they actually get a good enough attempt to get over it. So
no, that makes sense. I feel like a lot of things in scootering are the same way. Like the approach to it is just absolutely everything. Like you could see somebody doing a flip maneuver, and they could approach the box 20 times, throw it one time, and then it takes them another 20 attempts just to throw it because the box before it, they cased it every time. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like the approach. It's so interesting. I've never thought about that in pogo stick terms before, like how you have to like account all your bounces.
Yeah.
I noticed when we were riding yesterday, you guys kind of did things in sets of 5. It was kind of like, all right, on the 5th jump, that was the standard thing that you guys would say. Is that kind of the standard routine in pogo sticking? Like when they do these high jump competitions, is it 5 jumps to it, or like?
So with the high jump, for it to count, you have to take at least 3 bounces in before you can do it. For high jump though, some people find it easier to drop in. This is where that 3 bounce rule comes in. So like we'd have like a 6-foot platform, and instead of being on the ground and trying to like start pogoing at 130 PSI in your pogo stick where it just doesn't want to budge, you can start on top of this box and just drop in for your first jump. And then you kind of like line them up, but you're not allowed to just like drop in and then try to get the biggest bounce possible and then go over, because you yourself didn't really do it. Like,
got it. Okay.
It's like you're using the box jump as like your like initial.
So like
launch.
they're gonna let you like get that initial inertia, but you have to keep it for a second before you can even go to prove that you can maintain it.
The control, yes.
Got you. Okay. So it's almost like once you jump off of this platform, land, and then that your run starts after that first bounce, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. That's so interesting. I feel like I'm learning so much about Pogo Stick right now.
Oh, you're gonna learn a lot today.
So what got you guys into Pogo Stick? Because I feel like I'm somebody that does lots of niche activities. You know, I'm a scooter rider, I fingerboard, I do a lot of things. And I feel like the way that I've gotten into a lot of my activities is usually through mutual friends, you know what I mean? Or just like random little instances. But I'm so curious how you guys got into Pogo Sticks. I feel like everyone has unique stories about their niche activity. Like, Russ, let's start with you.
So when I was a kid, I was playing basketball a lot. And I don't know if you guys remember And One Street Ball.
Of course.
But I was like so into it because it was like, there was like no rules. And when the elevator, I think it was, did the 720 dunk, I was like, dude, I got to figure out how to dunk. But I couldn't really jump that high. And at the same time, my dad found one of these pneumatic pogo sticks, and he's always into crazy stuff. So he got me one for Christmas. I did a couple trick dunks. It was sick.
With the Pogo Stick.
With the Pogo Stick.
That's fire.
And then I kind of put it down for a little bit. And then because I didn't know about these guys, so I stumbled across like him and some other guys on we had like a forum back in the day, an Pogo forum. And I realized like, oh, these guys are doing like legit tricks and like flips. So then it just kind of all spiraled from there.
That's sick. That's so cool. Yeah. So let me ask you really quick. How did you dunk with a Pogo Stick? Like obviously you need two hands on it, right? Like did somebody throw you the ball midair and you dunked it, or like how'd that go down? Like
me and my dad had a setup in our backyard where I would bounce up to the hoop and I would jump off of the Pogo Stick and he would toss me the ball and I would hit like double under the leg and do some 360s. I never got the front flip dunk, but maybe soon. Maybe I'll go back.
Dude, I see you when you bounce. You stabilize yourself in the air. Like I wonder if you could. Is it possible to bounce with one hand?
Yeah.
Oh, like imagine just bouncing with a basketball and like legitimately dunking it.
So we did a collab video with Dude Perfect a few years back. And
really? Like you two?
Not Russ. I was in it, and then we were on a thing called the Pogo Adventure, which is a yearly road trip we like to do where we just pack a bunch of Pogo dudes in a van and then just drive around the country filming whatever we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were on this adventure and we were hanging out with Dude Perfect when we rolled through Dallas before they got like super big. And one of the shots that we did was me doing a front flip dismount off the Pogo Stick and then shooting the shot like about, I'd say, half court length away. And that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do on a Pogo Stick, man.
So tell me about like filming for a Dude Perfect video. Like I see a lot of their videos and a lot of the things looks like they take them a lot of attempts to do.
Dude, like I don't understand how they do it, man. Like, cause they'll be the same amount of energy and enthusiasm every single take. It could take them 2 hours to do a trick shot. And they're still like, hey, I'm Tyler and this is the trick shot. It's like, what? Like, how are you that energetic after you've missed it 200 times already? Like, I would get defeated really quickly in that job.
Dog, what? I've been so curious, you know, because they always sometimes have these like little like intros before they do their stunt. And I'm like,
every time they do it, every single take, man, it's insane. They want it to look like as authentic as possible, but I'm not going to front and say that their shots come easy. No. When I was doing the front flip shot, I was trying it for 2 hours the first day. Couldn't even get it the first day.
And were they just like, oh, it's all good, dude. We'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm like,
not stressed.
I don't know if I can do this. I'm not a trick shot guy. This isn't my job. But I got it like fourth try the second day.
That's so sick, dude. That's really something awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun filming with those guys. Hopefully we can do something with them again in the future, but they're pretty big now. I don't know about that. They've got like their own TV show and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you get into pogo sticking?
So
we know Russ's story, but now you.
Russ didn't really have
He just wanted to dunk.
Yeah. He just had that desire. He was showing up fools at the Florida State Fair that were dunking last year. That was pretty fun.
Can you dunk now?
No, I'm like, dude, like 6 inches away. Like I'll get it before I'm 30. I promise. Send you a video.
But yeah, so the way that I got into it, I actually have like somewhat of an action sports background. Like I started skateboarding and all that stuff when I was about 10 years old. I just happened to stumble upon extreme pogo sticking on the internet one day when I was like 13, MySpace. Yeah.
That's sick.
Half of you guys don't know what that is. But I saw a video of dudes just like trying pogo stick tricks, and I was like, no way, that's not a thing. Is this really a thing? So I busted out a pogo stick out of my garage, and for like 2 weeks straight, just started trying to imitate everything I saw in that video until my pogo stick exploded and fell apart, basically.
Really?
Yeah. So I figured at that point, if I'm going to put this much time and effort into something and like push myself to the point that I'm breaking this product, like I would break a skateboard or something, then it's probably worth investing into a pretty decent pogo stick. So after that, I invested into like my first like good spring powered pogo stick. And then it was the same one that I saw the dudes using in that video. Cause this is way before like any extreme pogo sticks even existed. I think maybe the first air powered model came out like 2 weeks before I started pogo sticking.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
and I didn't even know about it.
So you kind of came in on the forefront of it. Like you came, and that's really like, that's super relatable for scootering for me. I feel like I like found my interest in scootering, and it was just like, oh, just happens to be the same time that all of these great scooters are starting to come out, like fold-ups are starting to go away. That's really sick though. It really feels like, it makes you feel like you're really like a part of something. Like when you're starting to see like the formation of it, and like you're at the beginning of it, it's sick.
It's like feeling like a pioneer, man. It's like we have to pretty much create everything from scratch. Like, yeah, we derive tricks and stuff from other sports, but there's a lot of stuff that we just had to figure out on the fly. Like, I was a fourth person in the world to front flip a pogo stick. So like figuring out the technique was so weird because the other three people that did it before me did it completely different from one another. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this because I don't know how I would actually approach it. And now I have the worst front flips in the world, but I can still do it.
That's sick, dude. That's so interesting. So I want to hear about like the pogo stick community. I feel like there must be a group of characters out there that, including you two, you know what I mean? Like, tell me about the first time that you ever like met another pogo sticker where there was like, this is my shit. Like, this is like, obviously I pogo stick and this is my shit, but like I'm meeting another pogo sticker and this is your shit. Like, I remember my first time meeting another scooter rider. That was like a big moment. Tell me about the first time you met another pogo sticker.
So like the first time I met another person that pogo stick in person, it was like we had this like little like meetup jam at like some random school down in Bradenton, Florida. Like Russ was talking about earlier with the ex-Pogo forums, we were all kind of on there chatting online. And I didn't really get a chance to meet any of these people until about 8 months to a year after I started doing pogo sticking, because that's when I first discovered the website. And so we started messaging back and forth with all these dudes, but they lived like an hour or so away from me, and I'm 14, so it's hard to get around at that point. One day we just got everybody to somehow convince their parents to drive and meet at some central location, and then everybody just started pogo sticking together. And I remember like pulling up. I was the last one to arrive to this thing, so I was like 2 hours late because my dad thought it was in a different town. But I just pull up to the front of this school and I just see like other people doing pogo stick tricks, and it's blowing my mind. I'm like, I've never seen anybody else doing it besides like myself or my brother. So to like roll up to a school or just any spot and see like your sport for the first time, you're like, this is what I do and they're doing it too. Like, that was a really cool feeling, just because
I can imagine
back then, like nowadays, usually about 50-50 people have heard of extreme pogo. We've kind of put the name out there, but back then no one knew what this was. We didn't have the big air pogo sticks. People did not have the assumption that you could just do a backflip on it. So I pulled up and instantly my mind was blown. Went out and like shook everybody's hand, just shaking the whole time. And then
was that how the other kids were as well?
Kinda, yeah. But they had already been there for a couple hours too, so they were all kind of like used to each other. It was probably about 6 or 7 of us from all around Florida.
That's sick.
Yeah, that was like the mecca for pogo back in the day. 7 of us in Florida. So
that's insane.
Yeah, but meeting them was just so cool. It was really like surreal because like I was like, I've seen these tricks in video clips that we send to each other on Messenger online, but now like I'm seeing you guys do it in person. And then immediately I just wanted to do every single trick that I knew how to do at that point for him, because I was like, oh, I could do this trick, I could do this trick, this would be so cool if they saw that. Like, what are they gonna think? It was awesome, dude. Like
That's so cool. Are you still in contact with some of those 7 people today?
oh yeah,
All 7 of them?
I can't say all 7 of them. Some of them faded away probably a year or 2 after that, but like the core group of us, we're still like super, super close. Like one of the dudes is definitely going to be in my wedding party at some point. So
That's super cool, man.
Yeah.
That's really like awesome that you got to meet like a community of people. I'm assuming through the internet, you know what I mean? And you guys just like didn't know who you were beforehand. You just had a common passion and like that was your common interest together. And the fact that you've been able to like maintain that relationship over all of these years, like that's really sick.
yeah, my parents were a little skeptical about it at first. I mean, you're talking to strangers online. They're like, yeah, come pogo stick at my house. And it's like, is that a pervert posting as a kid?
No. Trust me, I 100% know what you're trying to say because when I was a kid, I would try to host fingerboard events at my house, and I did, and it was like I think I had one fingerboard event. There was like 2 kids from online that showed up, and like their parents were like so weary about like dropping them off, but then like my parents would like just talk with them the whole time. But it was like I don't know, it was just weird, It was weird, like, one, trying to, like, convince my parents to, like, take me to go meet somebody else that does this weird niche thing. And it's just, like it just is the most perfect, like, parent trap that's like, no, you're going to be abducted. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
no, Mom, like, I swear. Like,
No, it's like this kid, like he just wants me to come pogo with him in his garage. And it's like, yeah, that's what a pervert would say. Like,
and it's like, how can you trust this person? He's like, because he knows the name of this pogo stick trick.
exactly, right?
That's the only thing I'm working with.
He sent me a video clip. Like, come on now.
Dang. So, Russ, how did you get into it?
So like I was doing it for probably 3-4 years before I ever like met anyone.
Yeah. Tell me about like my bad. The first time you met somebody like in the community.
Yeah. So like I'd been grinding away in my backyard, just filming tricks. And, I was kind of a little antisocial, so it was all right. Like I enjoyed it. And
did you enjoy it because it really felt like you were creating your own ground? Like you felt like you enjoyed it because it was like a solo thing that had no rules because no one around you was doing it. Was that a draw for it?
Exactly. Like it would reach out to my like need to be like physically active, but it would also reach out to the need to be like creative, and it would also reach out to the need to be like influenced by other things. And like in my young mind, like combining all those things together was like the best release from like I could feel any sort of way. Just go out in the backyard. That's all I needed to do. And I'd feel great after.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think about just action sports, and it's one of the few mediums that's creative athleticism, or I said that wrong. Being a creative athlete, because I feel like there's a lot of athletic things where it doesn't require a lot of creativity. Like, for example, like a 50-mile or a 50-meter run. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, how much creativity? You start at one line and you run to the other line, or a tennis match, or a baseball game. You know, there's defined rules in place. Like, you can work within the rules and you can get creative like that, but I feel like the overall structure of it doesn't allow for that much. You know what I mean? And I feel like action sports are like the only real like physical activity that's like super almost artistic based.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, because like you're not gonna do a 50-meter run backwards.
I mean, if you did and you did it the fastest, I'm sure they would count it.
Oh, I would hope so. That'd be sick.
Imagine somebody shows up at the Olympics does the 50-meter. Like, they're like, oh, yo, can you mount my starting things backwards?
Dude, Usain Bolt's like, this is too easy now. I gotta go backwards. He's gonna side gallop it or something now.
That'd be hilarious. Oh my gosh. Dang. So what's the pogo stick community like right now? I'm so curious. Like what's like I'm sure there's contests. I'm sure you guys were talking about you guys do like shows. You know what I mean? Like what's the community looking like right now? Because I'm sure it's grown a lot from just the 7 people in Florida and just the couple people that you hung out with. Like what is it doing now? Like how are people making ends meet with pogo sticking? Like what's the community looking like these days?
Yeah, so we're pretty big into shows. Before coronavirus, like me and Tone will be basically traveling all the time, doing fair shows, NBA halftime shows, NFL halftime shows.
Really?
Dog shows, like literally.
Have you done an NFL halftime show?
Yeah, we did the Detroit Lions.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool. And like, what does that look like?
Oh man, it was absurd because we were dressed up like elves because it was the
It was Christmas.
one. Yeah.
Was it this last Christmas?
It was 2 Christmases ago.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So did they set up like a platform in the middle of the field or something like that?
No, we were just on their turf field. Turf is really good for pogo.
Got you. Okay.
So like we had to choreograph things with their dancers. Like they hit a certain move and we hit a certain move, and we were all Christmas themed out, and it's pretty cool.
That's so sick.
I did a backflip over one of the kickers by accident. He was like coming up to warm up, and I was hitting a backflip. I had no idea where I was because there's so many lights and crap going on. So I like just kind of like went over him and like looked at his face, and I was like, oh, this is not good.
Wow. That's hilarious. Backflipping over the kicker for the Lions.
Let's hope it's the backup kicker.
Sorry, man.
He was probably more confused than you were. He was just trying to play football, and there's this pogo stick just flying above him.
Yeah.
Upside down.
He has no idea what's going on. He's like, that's a hell of a day at work.
Oh, man. So has there been any contests or anything going on since Corona has happened, or has all of those been put on pause?
No, we actually did have a contest this past summer during coronavirus. Obviously, we tried to be as safe as possible.
Of course, yeah.
Social distancing, keeping no crowds or anything like that.
You have to jump at least 6 feet or higher.
Yes.
So that way it's socially distanced.
Yeah.
We stay away from everybody on a whole nother level.
Exactly.
But no, we obviously the competition wasn't the same as we would normally have it. The international.
Hold up. What is a normal pogo stick competition? I'm sorry. I have no idea. Like, what does that look like?
It's definitely something you've never seen before.
Okay, so I'll put like a scooter term. Like I'll give you like a nutshell of like what a scooter comp usually is. Usually there's like, I don't know, 10 to 20 riders, and they compete, and they usually have like 3 1-minute runs, and they get judged on like what tricks they do, how they do the tricks, how they use the park. And there's usually like 5 categories that like amplitude is one of them. And I'm assuming pogo stick's probably similar. Yeah. Tell me about like the actual like full structure of it though, because I'm so curious.
Yeah, so our structure kind of revolves around 3 things. Mm-hmm. There's freestyle. It's pretty similar to like freestyle skateboard or scooter. You're basically using a park with obstacles, although our obstacles are more like boxes and
they're more like height-based obstacles.
They're height-based, no transition.
More like platforming almost.
And it's like there's no like angles. It's mostly just square. Like it's platforms that you can hop on and like stall on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. We have some like banked surfaces and stuff like that for like little like foot plants and wall plants and stuff like that. Some dudes do bounce off of those depending on like the angles. We have some that are like real mellow, and then we have like slanted walls that are like that, and it allows for like creativity in the competition to really flow. It's like, okay, you can jump straight up and down on things that are flat, but like let's see what you can do with the next level, like so hit the banks and stuff like that. So
for the freestyle, that's always in some sort of course, right? Or is there? Yeah. So in that course, what's your objective? Like to do like a perfect run? Do you have to like maneuver the whole course? Do you have to like what? Like how does it get broken down? Like I'm curious.
Yeah. So the judges kind of look at, first of all, difficulty of tricks. Mm-hmm. Like how hard are the tricks that you're doing? Second thing is like how flowy your run is. So if I'm like doing a trick, but like you see that like I barely landed it and it looks like I'm struggling, then that might deduct points. And using the whole park. So like I might be able to do a front flip, a back flip, 5 other tricks off of one obstacle, but using all the obstacles will give me a better chance of winning.
Got you. Okay.
It's also there's also like height, like the height that you're doing your tricks at and stuff. Like the judges want to see you doing higher tricks.
And that's a factor in freestyle?
Yes.
Got you.
Yes. So like that's like if your tricks are higher, they're probably going to be cleaner. You got more hang time and stuff, and it makes it look like it flows a little bit more. And then like style is another big thing. Like, yeah, you can do some hard tricks, but if they're ugly looking, like they're not going to score as high. So like style and difficulty kind of go hand in hand with each other. Obviously, I think difficulty at the end of the day is going to outweigh style, but style is a key factor in that. And then and then there's also like the bail rules and stuff. So like you fall in competition, you get 2 falls in competition that deduct 5 points each, but any fall after that will not deduct any points. So basically you can fall, but
has anyone ever won by falling?
No one has ever won with a bail in their run.
Top 3 last year, I don't think anyone fell.
No.
Got it. That must be pretty like if you fall, like you're done then.
Oh yeah. As soon as you hit that fall, you're just pretty much, I mean, you can keep going with your run if you just want like that practice for like that next round, but like me personally, I would save my energy and stuff so I could be ready to go for the next round. I won't mess up what I just did again. So and then that's not the only like competition we have at Pogopalooza.
Yeah, tell me about the other ones. So there's freestyle, and tell me about the other forms.
So there's freestyle. There's tech pogo, which is like almost.
Is that like a hold on? Is that like a digital pogo?
Yes, exactly.
And you I'm just kidding. I'm just imagining like an AR, like a VR thing that you're just like.
No, you've been seeing those dancing robots.
There's artificial pogo stick. That's a whole separate category.
We got pogo robots now that just do it. We just watch them. No, I'm just kidding. No,
I'm sure they could make a robot that could.
Of course.
I'm sure that's what got us to break the record. Imagine if they can mathematically calculate like mass and momentum, like exponentially increasing per jump and like stability and everything. Dude, they could launch that thing to the moon.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Like,
I see 20 feet easy from them.
Because they could probably put like 10 times the amount of pressure that a human could take because it'd be so calculated. You know what I mean? Like, dude, that'd be insane.
That'd be nuts.
Anyway, talk to Elon Musk about that one.
Just go to Elon, be like, yo, dude, my name is Russ, dangerous. I have an idea on how to get to Mars. You just got to build me a pogo stick.
But
tech pogo.
Yeah, tech pogo. Sorry. Tech pogo. So it's like kind of similar, like a flatland style, like
Gotcha.
BMX or flatland scooter. We still do use the obstacles. You still use the park. It's just the rules of tech pogo are you're only allowed to use a spring pogo stick.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's the low to the ground technical side. That's why it's the tech competition. I'm actually the 2-time champion for that right now.
So that's a whole other factor to pogo sticking then. So there's pogo sticks that are like low to the ground, and then there's pogo sticks that aren't low to the ground.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's kind of one funny thing about pogo sticking, and I feel like I wanted to almost bring this up earlier. Like there's almost park and street pogo stickers, which is like hilarious. And the funniest thing about that is we have a street, a park pogo sticker in front of me right now, and that's like that's hilarious to me because it's like, what is Undialed? Oh, it's a street and a park rider. Like, right? It's just kind of like this full circle sort of thing. But what's like the difference between like the low pressure and the high pressure and how do you like choose your routes? Like I don't know, like what made you choose tech over like height, and what made you choose height over tech?
So when I got started in pogo sticking, we only really had the spring pogo sticks.
Yeah.
So everything I learned.
And what's like the max height of a spring pogo stick?
Probably just if you're just jumping, not like tucking or trying to like muscle out height, you're only gonna get maybe a foot and a half.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. And then the air ones with that equivalent is like 5 to 6 feet.
Yes. Their average is about 4 to 6, depending on like your skill level.
Got it. Okay. And so then the technical stuff is all based around, so the tech pogo is basically all based around these 1 foot high jumping pogo sticks.
Yes.
So doing flips on that would be hard then.
Yes. So like flips aren't really like
a part of tech.
people can do the flips on the spring pogo sticks, but like in competition, that's not really what they're looking for. They're looking for like your technical like skill. Like it's a lot of like stalling on the ground, a lot of like leg wrap maneuvers.
Stalling on the ground.
Yeah, like so like your tricks will be like your tip is still on the ground. You're basically just balancing on the pogo stick and doing a lot of like flat land stuff or like a lot of stalls on ledges or
Got it.
stuff
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mostly just do the stalls with like your pegs that you have, like your little footholds, right?
Yeah. So like if you're stalling on a ledge, you just use your pegs and stuff like that. There are some like frame stalls or like you throw the whole pogo stick down and stand on it if you want, but like I don't recommend that. That's pretty stupid looking.
So tell me really quick. Obviously, if you jump onto your right peg versus your left peg, one of them is oppo, right?
Yeah.
One of
so
them is,
like you have a strong and a switch side.
and how do they determine that in contests?
I don't think they notice yet.
No, like they must know you personally.
They do know me personally, but they'll sometimes I'll be like talking to my buddy Nick, who's like our filmer, and like he'll film a clip of me, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll switch." He's like, "I couldn't tell," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I have no idea, man. Like you just did it so clean on that side. I thought that was your normal side." I was like, "Nah." So there is switch to it. My switch game, at least in the air, is trash. Russ is pretty much really good at all around tricks like that. He throw the pogo stick under every inch of his body, every way he can. What's the best switch trick you've done?
Like switch stick flips are a thing.
So I'm thinking right now, like, hold up. So switch, when we're talking about tech, I was thinking about like the pegs, like be on like a different peg. What does switch look like in park pogo sticking?
Yeah, so
Is that like crossfoot, backwards, like?
no, like so basically the easiest way to explain it is our kick flip of pogo sticking, or maybe the tail whip of scootering, is like an under the leg bar spin, so you pass it under your leg. Usually you start with the leg that's most comfortable. That's your strong leg. Mm-hmm. So once you do that, then you do an under the leg bar spin under the other leg. That's your switch under the leg bar spin.
Got it. So it's basically whichever one you do first.
Right. Whatever feels more comfortable, you're going to want to do first.
So in pogo sticking, you really do almost have a dominant leg.
Yeah.
It's like you have a dominant leg, and then that leg is what so much of the tricks are built around. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, for me, it's all right leg.
Yeah, I'm left leg.
Your left leg.
Yeah.
That's so. You know what's interesting about scootering? I don't know if you guys have ever thought about this. Hold up, let me ask you. Do you have a dominant hand in pogo sticking?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like the hand that you would pass to. So like everything that I would catch would be my right hand.
Got it. Okay, yeah. That's interesting. So in scootering, we have a dominant hand and a dominant leg, and I've been watching scooter riders for decades or a decade, and it's so interesting to watch like how scooter riders can have their tricks, or a bag of tricks, be completely determined by like which is their dominant arm, which is their dominant leg, just because it kind of restricts and allows for tricks to come easy or hard. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And what's interesting about that is like, for example, like me and Clayton, we both ride goofy. That means right foot forward. We both are right-handed. But what's interesting is like my dominant leg when I scooter is my front foot. Clayton's dominant leg when he scooters is his back foot. So like I catch a lot of my tricks front foot. He catches every single one of his tricks back foot. And it's like, it's interesting because if you watch our styles, you could see how like just that little aspect like manipulates so many tricks, just how you do so many tricks. And there's so many tricks that I feel like I naturally have. And the only reason I have that is because of that early muscle memory that I built with like having a dominant or like non-dominant, you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, and it's so interesting to me that like you guys are going through the exact same thing. Like, because I'm sure there's pogo stickers out there that have a dominant right leg and a dominant left arm, and the tricks that they do, like their Jackie Chan's or whatever, might be like different. You know what I'm trying to say? Just because it's like, and yeah, no, it's so interesting, like how that goes down.
Another thing is like some of the tricks, like it's weird because like some people, everything will be under their right leg for their strong leg, but some people, like a guy named Fred that pogos, he does half of his tricks under his right leg, but then other tricks feel more comfortable under his left leg, depending on the way he's passing and stuff. So Then you mix up tricks like you were said, the Jackie Chan, which pretty much mixes up 2 big air under the leg tricks. And it's like some people will have it where they'll pass it both under their left and right leg, and that'll be strong side for both of them.
That's why I'm good at that trick, is because it's strong for both of my legs. Like if I were to go under this leg, it would be this leg. And if I were to go around and behind, it would be my right leg. So when I do a Jackie Chan, I'm going under the right leg, which is strong, and then under the left leg, which is also strong. So I got lucky.
That's sick.
But then some people, they have to do one of those tricks switch in midair.
But then I'm sure if you were going to do like an Oppo Jackie Chan, you would have to do backwards.
Yeah.
But then those people that like have to do one of those steps backwards, they would then have that element. Like,
oh, yeah, that's
do you know what I'm trying to say? And that's the exact same problem we have in scootering, because we have these 4 tricks, and they're all kind of the same trick, but there's just 4 variations of it. There's full whip, full heel, rotor whip, and rotor heel. And basically those 4 tricks is all determined on the bar spin turning clockwise or counterclockwise and the deck spinning clockwise or counterclockwise. Let's just say in a hypothetical goofy situation, because it also gets determined like goofy or regular. You say goofy situation, right foot forward. It's like if both the bars and the scooter, if the bars and the deck both span counterclockwise at the exact same time, it'd be a full whip.
Yep.
Now, if you were to spin the bars clockwise and the deck counterclockwise, that would be a rotor whip. And then if you did both of them both clockwise, then you'd do a full heel. And then if you did the deck clockwise and the bars counterclockwise, you'd have a rotor heel.
Yep.
And it's interesting because there's one of those 4 that no matter who you are, it's naturally gifted to you. It's your natural bar spin and your natural tail whip. And then there's 2 that are like one step away that are like a little bit harder. So then there's I'll just take my instance. My natural bar spin is clockwise. My natural tail whip is counterclockwise. And then when I go to do full whips or full heels, I either have to do an oppo bar in one of the tricks or an oppo tail whip in one of the tricks. And then when I get to that final 4th one, I have to combine both of them together. I have to combine both of the hard ones. You know what I mean? The hard tail whip and the hard bar spin. And it's interesting to me, like how you can how every single person is born with one, and then there's one that's the opposite of what they can do, and then there's those 2 middle in betweens. And I feel like a lot of the times people will learn like one, or they'll learn like one or just like one, and then like the second one, maybe an opposite bar spin. But I feel like the people who spend that time initially, like early on, and like learn all of those little avenues and like really get to know their body and like learn all the opposites like early, like I feel like that's what creates like insane muscle memory. But it's so interesting to me, like listening to you, because it's like I feel like that's almost the exact same story. Like you have natural, but if you were to do like one of those variations opposite, do you know what I mean? You would do like natural to unnatural, and then you'd have to do like unnatural to natural, and then you have to do like unnatural, and it's like getting all of those. It's interesting.
Yeah. It kind of determines like what tricks you do and like how you do your thing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Do
you think, I feel like in scootering, your body proportions, your strength, your size is almost a kind of correlation to like what tricks you do. Is that a similar consistency you would say in pogo sticking? Like, do you find that the guys who go the highest are all kind of bigger dudes, and then like the guys who do the techno stuff are like smaller dudes? Not saying that you guys are big or small. I'm just like, do you find consistencies throughout like that in pogo sticking, or not really?
A little bit here and there. A lot of guys who bounce really high are usually like pretty low, like body fat and like kind of shredded.
Are they kind of like short, ripped dudes?
Yeah, like super skinny. Like they have muscles, but not too much muscle. Not too much weight.
I mean, the guy who holds the world record for high jump right now is a shredded Russian. So
he is ridiculous.
I feel like the heavier you are, almost the easier it'd be, because you get so much momentum, Mm-hmm.
It does kind of mess up at some point though, because the more weight you are, the more pressure you need. And so it's just like, no matter how heavy you are, it's still gonna mess you up just as much,
I feel it. Have they ever made like a pogo stick that has like a 10-foot long pole on it or something like that.
They have.
That basically would just compress like so slowly that it would just like launch you. Like have they ever
like
made like an
that.
extreme pogo? Like I'm curious.
No, so our buddy Fred.
That's an X pogo right there.
Our buddy Fred he does street performance shows as well. So he has like some pretty funny novelty pogo sticks. And like I was talking about that rubber band model one earlier.
Yeah.
The way that it's made, he's stacked like 3 different tubes of them on top of each other. And then he welded like 3 different shafts from them together as well. Yeah. So he's got like this 11-foot tall pogo stick that he just like jumps on in his shows now. And it's hilarious looking, but there's nothing really extreme you can do on it. If you could do some things on it.
Could you bar spin it? Could you bar spin it?
No, absolutely not. I couldn't even get up there. He built a double one that I kind of could mess around on, but his triple is insane. So there's nothing I'm doing up there. He gets on it and he puts his whole body through a tennis racket in his show while he's up on it. So that's pretty crazy.
Wow. Like through the mesh?
No, there's no mesh.
That would be sick.
He turns himself into French fries real quick. Oh, has there ever been like a 2-person pogo? Like,
yes.
Like top and bottom? Like
so not like
side,
top and
side.
bottom. So like
I'm
that
just
same
imagining
guy.
like a totem pole. Like
But no, so the way that one is stacked though, there have been dudes who have ridden it like that.
Yeah. So what is the 2-person pogo stick? Like if it's not up like top and bottom, what is it?
So like it's that same guy, he built a setup where like he built a giant box platform around the pegs and then a giant like pair of handlebars sticking out. And so just people on both sides of it, like pogo in like that.
Oh my gosh.
They actually, they're trying to do the first tandem flip on it.
Wow.
Yeah. They did the tandem backflip dismount. They were trying it at a competition a few years back, but they're doubling the weight on the pogo stick. So the pogo stick has to handle a lot more. You obviously have to crank the pressure up twice as much as you're used to. You also have to be in good sync with the person that you're trying to jump with. So you want similar like body types and stuff. But just watching them try to throw this thing, they did it a couple times, but the shaft just bent on.
So one person has to front flip and one person has to back flip, right?
No. They can face the same way.
Oh, they can?
Yeah. So like the way that it's set up, they both just backflip. But you want someone who has probably the exact same form that you would backflip. So if like, I couldn't do it with anybody because I don't backflip like anybody. It's trash. If we would try that, me and Russ, his side would go way up higher and then my side would just whip us around and then we'd probably get really hurt.
That's funny. So you've said a couple times now that you were the third person land a front flip or fourth.
Yep.
You're the 4th person land a front flip and that you do a lot more technical riding. And I think one thing that is very interesting about your pogo sticking is your ability and your willingness to take on rails.
Yes.
Tell me about like what does that look like? Because I feel like for everyone watching, like if you've seen somebody hit a rail on a pogo stick, it has been this man right here. Like better chance than not. And what made you like want to do that? Like what made you want to like start hitting rails on a pogo stick? Like that's so unique.
So the way that
and hold up, audience. He's hitting like double kink handrails. This isn't just like this isn't like he's going to the skate park and doing like a couple inches on a rail. Like he's in legit handrails.
Yeah, so go watch my part if you want to go see that. Like I got some pretty heavy rails in that one. Tone stop, something sweet. Anyways, my like drive to start like the street pogo and like hit rails was always derived kind of from the tech pogo, like the stalls and stuff. Like that was always like what I was interested in. I tried to get into the big air game like as much as I could, the stuff that Russ does, like the double passes and triple passes under your leg and stuff. Like I can do your basic like big air tricks, and I've got some pretty hard big air tricks too. I've done some stuff that only 1 or 2 other people in the sport have ever done.
So let me ask you a question real quick. Is that kind of in a way where the money lies a little bit in pogo stick right now, just from like shows and stuff? It's like because that's almost similar with scootering a little bit. It's like competitions and everything are like those are in like the park side of scootering. Like if you want to win a lot of money in scootering, you're gonna go win a park comp. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
And like And I feel like maybe that's similar in scootering, and that's why I'm so curious. I mean, that's why it's similar in pogo stick, and that's why I'm so curious. Like, what made you want to take on like rails?
So like, I didn't really look at like, I knew like I'm not gonna make money from going out and grinding rails and filming street parts and stuff.
But there was nobody else doing it. Like, screw the money. The money doesn't matter. There was no like framework. Like, you were just. There was nobody else doing it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, what made you like want to take that leap?
I mean, it was all trial and error. Like, figuring out like how to make grinds work on a pogo stick has taken years and years of practice. But the reason that like I got into it was because they're doing all these crazy tricks. The level of like the height of pogo sticks just keeps increasing. Like, your average height goes from 3 feet, then it goes to 4 feet, then it's 6 feet, 7 feet, and I'm getting older. I can't keep up with these kids anymore, man. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm 28 now, so we've got like these like 16 to 20-year-olds flying 8 feet, doing like quad passes and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit. I can't
and I'm sure there's a whole element to that as well, where it's like you said that you got into pogo stick on like the forefront of it. So I'm assuming that like even when you were like your first couple of years, even taking it seriously, like what those pogo sticks look like then versus the pogo sticks you have now, I'm sure like there's. The ones now are way better.
It's like how your sport evolved. Like,
no, that's what I'm saying.
It evolved
yeah, exactly.
from like foldies and stuff where you're bolting your head tubes in, and now you have like your one piece decks. And
so the kids that are killing it now, they started on those better pogo sticks.
Yeah. So like Russ's first pogo stick was a giant big air pogo stick.
Got you. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. But go on.
So the reason I saw them doing all these crazy things, and I'm like, I will get really hurt trying that. That is not my niche.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, fun fact, like you do all those passes and stuff. Our pogo sticks can sometimes get caught up between our legs.
Oh,
Russ ripped his urethra one time.
Yep. Ruptured.
Same thing. You broke your dick.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to deal with any of that, man. Plus, I ride reinforced bars, so like if that's getting caught, that's gonna do some damage and all that stuff. Like, there was a fear factor in that for me. I'm also like scared of heights. Yeah, I'm an extreme pogo sticker and I jump super high, but I'm scared of heights. So I wanted to figure out like how can I still do dope shit, but like stay relevant and like I'll be on people's radar just as much as the guy who's throwing like double dismount flips and stuff like that. So I always thought it'd be cool to like grind on a pogo stick, and I saw dudes like hit like maybe like foot long grinds on like ledges and stuff, but like they're really like choppy.
Were you the first one to ever hit a rail?
No, I was not the first to hit a rail.
No, okay.
There were a couple guys that hit like tiny little like 3-stair, 4-stair rails where they like basically just press the peg on and let it just kind of like fall off as it slid down. So like, yeah, it's a grind.
But it's not like you're committed to it.
It's not like you're battling for a rail like a 8-stair or anything like that. It's just a little tiny like stairs and stuff. So there were rail grinds, but nothing significant. Everything looked really like choppy and really like bad. Like you'd see them like get on the ledge. They kind of like almost have to like shimmy themselves along the grind. Then they like pause at the end in a stall and then pop off. And I'm like, that's lame.
True.
If we try to put videos out with that kind of stuff in there, that's not going to look good. So I took it upon myself to try to learn grinds more and more over the years. Like, it really depended on figuring out the pogo stick's shaft length as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously the giant pogo sticks that we use, they've got a shaft that's probably 18 to 20 inches long. I don't have a lot of clearance for any like ledge or rail with a shaft that big. It's gonna like smack against a lot of stuff. So the pogo sticks that I use now, they are the air powered pogo sticks, but they're almost like a hybrid because the shaft length is so short. I'm able to hit the same like ledges like a BMX bike would hit. I've got like the same clearance from my shaft. So I wanted to make it look good. So I had to find the right pogo stick to make it look good as well. So it took a lot of trial and error over the years of like figuring out what's the best shaft length. And once I kind of got that figured out, it was more like, okay, now how do you make grinds look good on a rail? How do you make grinds look good on a ledge? the same with every other sport. You got to go through it smoothly. You don't want to look all sketchy, like off balance and stuff. So like, it's a lot. I've put hundreds of hours into just learning on my Sabrosa rails back at home. I've learned a lot of things with them. It's really, I'm trying to think of like the way to put it.
Has it felt like you were chasing, like you said, like one reason you really like Pogo Stick is you felt like you're on the forefront of an industry. Do you feel like you're on the forefront of like tricks? Like, do you feel like a pioneer of tricks when you're doing all of these grinds? 'Cause I'm sure most of the stuff you do at this point is like worldies, like everything you do.
Yeah.
And it's like, does that element in itself like really make you just want to keep pushing it?
Yeah. So like every single day, I try to pogo every single day.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
Even if I don't have time, I want to make time to pogo. Like it's what I want to do. It's what I want to push because the community is still so small and it's still so niche. I just want to get it out there. I want to get like it known about. So I want to push every aspect of the sport too, not just like, because obviously you are very similar to me in the aspect that we like to ride rails. We like to ride street. Russ and Clayton are pretty similar as to where they like to ride like park. They do the big air stuff like that. I want kids to see like, oh, they don't just have to be big air riders on a pogo stick. There's a whole nother like side and element to it that like you can be technical. You can go ride rails, ride street like that. And then Russ also rides street. He just rides street in like a different kind of way. Like,
I think it's so interesting you guys call it riding. You know what I mean? Like it's like you guys are riding it for sure. Like, but it's like whenever I think of riding, it's like I almost think of like rolling or something like that. It's interesting. You're not like, oh yeah, I hop street. You know, like I was hopping street. Like
I was just jumper blasting down the block. You know,
is riding like the term that gets used the most?
I think so. Yeah.
No, it makes sense, but it's just it's fun.
I do like saying I'm going out to bounce. It's pretty fun. But yeah, I think riding's most like universal.
That's so cool. That's interesting. Like, okay, let me ask you guys. When you guys are riding street, because you guys are on a tour right now, going across America, like going to spots and getting good footage, and you guys have been stacking clips, and that's sick. So like, have you guys been like kicked out of a spot, and like, what does that look like?
I mean, it looks pretty much just like everybody else getting kicked out of a spot. Like, it's a little like we get kind of some attempts still, like even before they say anything to us. I'll just kind of walk up because they have no idea what the hell they're looking at. They're like, wait, what? You're in a pogo stick?
Yeah, because
hold on, let me see this again.
Like, because there was a period of time where I'd be like scootering in a spot, they'd be like, "Come on, you're scootering," and I'd be like getting roasted by the person who was like kicking me out. Like, not only do you have to leave, but you're also lame. Like, and so I just feel like I don't know. I'm calling myself lame. I feel like it would be easy to box pogo stick, like if you're somebody that's not into it, you know, it'd be easy to box pogo stick into like, you do that lame thing, you know? Yeah. And it's like, I feel like you guys probably have to like go through that same like moment sometimes with people of just like, yeah, this is really what I'm doing right now.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And you gotta explain to them what this is. Like, it's not a bomb. It's like, you know, it's like a pogo stick and how it works. And yes, I can do backflips. And, you know, answer the same 5 questions every time. But it's pretty funny. We enjoy it.
Dude, it's like sometimes one time, like a few times actually now, we've just gone to the airport, like checked our pogo sticks.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of bombs, what's the airport situation like?
Yeah, like, so like we check a couple times, we checked our pogo sticks, and then I'll just be sitting at my gate, and then they call me up to the gate, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, they need you to go back through security and take your whatever it is apart. And I'm like,
take your shaft back through security.
It's like, wait, what? I have to go back out to like the baggage and everything? They're like, yeah, you have to go open your bag. You got to take the pogo stick apart and show them that like it's all good. If it's a big old air canister, they think it's pressurized. They're freaking out over there. And I'm like, it's okay. Come on now. Like,
you should see the hell that we have to go through taking our scooters. Like, they really think they're bombs. They really, I mean, not really.
So
but
do you check your scooter though? Do you check it or do you carry on?
Okay, so there's 3 ways of getting your scooter on an airplane, and there's, and I feel like there's the 3 different ways. There's one that's like very secure, but you kind of have to go through the most hoops to like do it. And if you do this step, then you'll be fine. Then there's the one that's like kind of just like makeshift, but it's also the most risky. And then there's one in the middle. So basically, like the most risky way of doing it, and I would say the most common way scooter riders transfer their scooter over airplanes. I never do this. I've never done this. Actually, I've done this a few times, but I rarely do this. Is you basically go and you check your scooter as if it's like a wheelchair or a stroller or something like that. You check it, you gate check it, you take it through security, leave it at like the bend and like the walkway. Once you get on the airplane, they put it underneath and you go pick it up at baggage. That usually works great, and it will work usually every single time on like direct flights. Where it gets hairy is connecting flights. That's where you don't want to do that method anymore. The next method is really to just take it apart, tape it up, and just throw it in baggage. Like just have it as like a unit. Mm-hmm. That can work, and that's probably the second most safe one to do because they usually don't mess it up. But you have to think about human psychology for a second. That doesn't look like a suitcase. If some dude who doesn't really care about his job is like just sifting through things, he might look past that. Do you know what I mean? So it's not a suitcase bag. So like we there's just a chance.
Yeah.
Now the most secure, safest way, but it takes the most preparation, is you go and you buy a suitcase that will literally fit your scooter. Now this is a little bit hard because you usually have to buy the suitcase online. Sometimes you can find like a niche traveling store that'll have a suitcase that big, but like our bars are pretty big. So like finding a suitcase that size is hard because like you can't fill up a suitcase that size without it being overweight almost everywhere. So suitcase companies don't make suitcases that big. So like just finding that suitcase, and luckily I have a suitcase that big. Clayton has a suitcase that big. And those are the 3 ways of traveling with a scooter. And that's the only way that me and him could do it, because we've had times where we have to have 4 connecting flights, like through major international airports. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And there's no way we could have gate checked our scooter through all of that. And the other thing as well is sometimes airlines will charge you for your scooter if they know a scooter is in there. So like if you take up the scooter taped together, they might charge you 200 euros for sporting equipment. And that's just how it is. You know what I mean? Like, but if you have all of your crap inside of your suitcase, then it's like you don't even have to tell them at all that you have a scooter. Mm-hmm. It's just you're another person on the plane. And I've never once lost my scooter, never once like anything weird has happened to it. But those are the 3 methods. I know a ton of people that swear by the first one. No, this is the best way, but they always lose their scooters. So I don't even mess with that. I'm curious for you guys though. Like, do you guys have methods? I'm sure there's some terminology.
Yeah, I used to just not care, and I would carry a inflated pogo stick into the airport and just give it to him. And
puts his the tag through the foot peg hole, and then he just throws it at the check baggage guy.
Yeah, but then I got tired of them, like, exactly like giving me crap about it. And I was just like,
what I think is so funny about airlines is whatever the dude at the front desk is feeling or thinking, that's what flies.
That's what sets the mood.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what goes.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
I kind of want to work for an airline company just because I know how broken their system is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah, I got tired of, banking on whatever the guy was feeling that day. So, but during that time, actually, one time I was taking it as a carry-on too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, I was over it. And eventually I got like a big army duffel bag and just stuck with it ever since.
Nice.
Because they fit in there. You can fit like 2 or 3 pogo sticks and they're still underweight.
Gotcha.
They're just kind of long and awkward, so you got to find like a longer bag. Usually they get sent to the oversize. In Denver, they've lost my bags a couple times just because Denver's that big hub, and it's kind of overlooked because that's not nearly as tall as like your ski bags that come out of there, but it has to come out at the same area as the ski bags.
And so that little like skinny column.
Yep.
Yeah. I've had so many memories on that. It was so funny one time. I've never never once gotten yelled at so much by my dad, but like one time I thought it'd be funny if I just like stood on that like conveyor thing and just like go back to the back room.
Go in the back.
Yeah, and I was like, there's nothing stopping me. There's like, what's gonna happen? Somebody's gonna kill me? Like, no. So I was standing on the thing, getting ready to go back to the back room, and my dad just grabbed my shirt, rips me off. He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. I wanted to go. And he's like, who do you think is getting in trouble for that? Not you. I am. Like, I was like, oh.
I've always been like low key wanting to try that.
It doesn't. Same. Still.
Yeah,
still
as an
to
adult.
this day. As an adult.
But the thing is we're the only ones that get in trouble for it now.
Yeah,
so like,
exactly.
let's do it.
I'm sure my dad would be more than happy. Like if I went for it now, he'd be like, hey, I'll record it. Like,
This is good Insta content right here.
exactly. Wow. That's so funny that Pogo sticking. I was going to say, you guys should look into golf bags. To transfer your scooter. And
they're just so like
Pogo.
They're just so expensive, and like Pogos have somewhat jagged edges on certain parts. They shred through bags. So like you don't want to.
But listen to this. Sometimes airlines will give you like almost rewards for like taking your golf stuff. I know there's a lot of BMXers. I know Brandon Lupos does this, BMXer, and he takes everything in a golf bag because. Sometimes they'll allow more weight in a golf bag because they know that the people traveling with golf equipment are like high up people or whatever, you know? So like, so you can sometimes like get away with just more like there's more gray area with golf bags because it's like the people who are taking golf bags are gray area people. Okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you have to like that's like a thing that I thought would be kind of cool. It's like, and then you will never get charged extra for golf clubs because it's like a luxury thing. You know what I mean?
You're like a high profile type of guy.
You know, so you kind of just have to like play that a little bit. You know, I probably would use a golf bag, but my scooter bars wouldn't fit in it. Mm-hmm. But like a bike frame does. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's got like that just right amount of room. Yeah, like because like we try to get bags that are a little wider too. Just for me personally, I travel with like 3-4 different pogo sticks at a time. They all have different shaft lengths, and I use different ones for different like styles of street and stuff. Like if I'm just hitting ledges, I'll use my short one. If I'm going out and I'm hitting like big down rails, I'm going to use the one that like has a little bit longer of a shaft. I can get those like good like rebounds. And if the rail's tall, I want like a little bit more to get onto it. Mm-hmm. So I travel with like 3-4 pogo sticks at a time. So my bags are pretty heavy usually. And I want like a little bit of wide room because the foot pegs roughly like 18 inches or something across. Yeah.
So I was about to ask, is there like a standard width in bars? Is there a standard width in foot pedals? Are they the same width for the foot pedals and the bars? Is there like is there standard measurements to all of that? Because I feel like in scootering, like it's been this progressive incline of size since the beginning. It's just been getting bigger. I feel like every day it's just the standard for how big something is. Like there was a period in time where where a company came out with a 22 long deck, and that was the most street decks, and like that was huge. Only people who aren't really going to take tricks seriously are going to ride a 22 long deck. Like, and now Clayton rides a 22 long deck. Chris Ferris rides a 22 long deck. I ride a 23 long deck. Like
you're riding a 6.6, right?
6.5.
Oh,
so I ride a huge scooter, and it's just in this constant progression of just scooters getting bigger. And I feel like we're going to hit a point at some point because like humans can only get so big. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be this point where it's like, all right, like now it's starting to get harder. You know what I mean? Like have you noticed, has there been like a similar size increase with pogo sticks?
Yes.
And like, what has that been? What's the standard now?
It's like, so handlebars and foot pegs have pretty much stayed the same.
Yeah.
But the shaft is what keeps getting bigger.
Got you.
So like, instead of the shaft being, well, Tone's going the opposite way, obviously, because he's doing his own thing. He's going smaller. But in terms of like going higher, like the shaft used to be maybe like 2 feet. Now the shaft is like up to my like, or the foot pegs will be at my waist.
Okay, just to be clear to our audience, the shaft on a pogo stick is the smaller part that goes inside of like the bigger like part that the handles and the foot
tube.
The tube. So there's the tube that the foot pegs and the handlebars are attached to, and the shaft is that piece that goes up inside of the tube.
Yes.
Got you. I just want to clarify that for the audience.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, but so like as we basically realized that you can hollow out the shafts and you get more air, you can fit more air pressure in them and it doesn't screw up your bounce. So hollowed out the shaft, and then we were like, oh, we just make the shaft longer and then you can fit even more air in, and then you can make it even longer and fit even more air in. But yeah, it seems to have leveled out where like my Pogo Stick is now.
Got you.
It's like, it's almost hard to get on. Like if for an average person, probably be pretty hard just to step onto Russ's Pogo Stick.
Yeah.
Even me, like sometimes I trip up getting onto some of the big ones just because I'm not thinking. I'm like, oh, it's only this tall, and then I realize, oh wait, that's taller than the big one that I use. So
what's so interesting is I was at the skate park yesterday, and I was talking to some kids, and I was standing next to your Pogo Stick, and I just had my scooter. I don't know where you went, but it was you just went around. They were like, try it to me. And I was like, okay. So I was like, all right, here we go. And like, I mess around on Clayton sometimes because he has one, but I like went to go jump on yours and I could not compress it.
Yeah.
I was like, no way. Like I these kids like saw a huge epic fail. I like tried to get on a Pogo Stick, like legitimately tried to press it down, and it maybe went down like it it was just like nothing. Yeah. And I was like, wow, like here as this thing compresses all hell, like holy shit.
Yeah. It's definitely a good like leg workout, and every time like to start it, I'm literally putting my whole body weight, every muscle into it to get it going.
And once you get it going, can you kind of chill a little bit?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not just like your legs though either. It's like a lot of like upper body till you put your shoulders and all of that into it. Like look at these. Look at these.
Yeah,
traps, baby.
I feel like if you ever got a construction job, you'd be like the ultimate jackhammer. The ultimate jackhammer, man.
I'll be doing tricks and stuff while I'm doing it.
For real.
I'm gonna like bar spin the jackhammer real quick.
So here's the thing. Like when are they gonna make like an electric Pogo Stick? Because I feel like couldn't they do some like crazy stuff with that? Because like isn't the whole objective of a Pogo Stick just to like launch you as high as possible? Like I feel like they have the potential of like there's air compression, sure, but I feel like there's like a whole something else. Like I feel like there's a way to like electronically like shoot you so high in the air. Maybe I'm just tripping, but
there definitely could be,
or a way to like shift the pressure on like the handle or something. I don't know. You were talking about someone doing that earlier.
Yeah, there is a guy who built like his own like boost tank on his Pogo Stick, so like he just be bouncing, hit the button, and his next bounce would just launch him like double the height.
That's insane.
But that guy wasn't like an extreme Pogo Stick rider or anything. He's just this guy like working on this working on this Pogo Stick who like just happened to be able to jump on so like we've never had one of us at our skill level attempt to use this Pogo Stick. We have no idea what we could do with this Pogo Stick.
I think that's some room for.
I think easily 13 feet, easy.
Yeah.
So 2 feet higher than the
hypothetically, if you rolled up to the high jump comp and you just had this nitrous Pogo Stick, would they let you use it, or is there like restrictions?
See,
I'm gonna find out this year.
We're having a debate.
I'm trying to contact the guy and be like, get a little more information so I can have something cool. I mean, worst case, it's something funny to show up with, you know. And if it doesn't count, it doesn't count. But I'm trying to definitely go like 13, 14 feet.
Dude, you got that.
Just to watch this thing.
Do you have to land it when you jump over the high jump too? I'm curious.
Yeah, like 3 bounces.
Because I know in pole vault they just land on their side.
Yeah.
No, so in high jump, yeah, like Russ said, like you gotta like bounce away 3 times after clearing the bar or demonstrate control. So like you can like bounce like once or twice and then like obviously dismount in control. Like if I were to throw a flip, dismount after a bounce, they're like, oh well, if he can flip, obviously he was in control.
True. True.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So what's the next step in Pogo Stick? And we've talked about, besides from nitro powered Pogo Sticks, like what's like, maybe not just on your own personal goals, but like what's like the next step in the Pogo Stick world? What would you guys like to see? Russ, you go first.
For me personally, I'm just kind of at the point where I feel like I'm my best and I want to like document it with like a really good video part. I've been like trying to go to El Toro a million times. I just want to hit big stair sets, do all the big, like the biggest, tallest, most dangerous stuff I can possibly do. So that's it really. Just film that and put it on the internet and
got the jaws of Pogo over here.
Yeah, that's all I'm really focused on.
Of the stick. What about you?
I mean, I want to see it evolve in every way possible. Like we were talking about earlier with grinds. Like I'm really the only person out there hitting rails and stuff like that. I want to see more kids like get involved in that aspect of the riding. It's like, yeah, it's not easy, but it'd be sick as hell to see you guys doing it. It's because I also have no one to compare myself to. Like I can't compare my style of like how I hit a rail to like someone else because no one else is doing what I do. And I want to be able to have those comparisons, and I want to see like other kids putting out video parts and stuff. I want to see all of that because like in the world we are in now in our community, there's not really that motivation to go out and film those parts, and there aren't those people that are really like killing it. I'm not saying like anybody in our community is not killing it. All the dudes that are going out and riding, they're putting in work every day. Someone's doing something new. Most of the time it's me and Russ, but it's pretty sick to see like clips come out from like the younger community too. And like, it's definitely evolving, but I want to see it go even farther. I want to see like a video part every other week or something from somebody. Like when we get to that point, I will be so happy. Not that I'm not happy with how it goes now. Like, it's great right now. I just put out like my video part a week ago, and like I'm riding a cloud on that right now because it's like the first dedicated street part that I ever actually have put out, and it felt so good to get that done. And like I want to try to replicate that feeling as much as possible.
Absolutely.
And it's not with just my part. Like when I see like other people's parts, when I watch a new scooter part that drops, like it gets my blood boiling and gets me going. I want to go immediately ride. So like I want to see more like media from
just more
Pogo.
coverage of
more
Pogo.
content. Yeah, more content for sure.
Well, dude, I do too, man. I think what you guys are doing is phenomenal. Like you guys, the fact that you guys are traveling across the country, just following your passion without a real guided vision that's been already placed in front of you. Like you guys are making it for yourselves. You know what I mean? And I think that's very admirable, and it makes me feel good about what I'm doing. It's making me feel like, I'm not alone in this world. I feel like for you guys are even more niche. So I don't know. I've really enjoyed having you guys on the podcast, and I've like really enjoyed like hearing your guys' perspective because it's so unique, but at the same time, it's not unique. It's the same story. I feel like it's the same story that like everyone action sports experiences, just like that.
Just in your own sort of personal way.
It's just your own version of it. You know what I mean? And it's so cool to hear. But thank you guys for being on. I'm going to wrap it up right here. But thank you guys for tuning into the Undialed podcast. We have some great Pogo stickers. Make sure to go check out Tone's part. Link will be in the description. Russ is going to come out with the part soon, so look out for his. What's your guys' Instagrams real quick?
Mine is just Danger Russ Pogo, but it's spelled like Danger Russ, RUSS, Pogo.
Got you.
Yeah, and then I'm just Pogo Tone, XPOGOTONE.
Nice. Anyway, guys, check them out. But I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. Catch you guys in the next one.